Okay, we're live. Welcome to wherever you are tuning in, whether it's LinkedIn, Facebook, or YouTube. Welcome. This is Christian Art Journaling, and I am on a mission. I said to one of my friends that she's challenging me, and I'm challenging myself to go live every day to talk about Proverbs, the book of Proverbs. And I'm really excited to share this with you. So I've been going on the 31-day challenge that Pedro Adair has put together, and I've been so inspired by it that it really come at the best time, really, for me, because I've been going through a really difficult patch at work, and I did something really silly, really. I went away from what God had told me to do. He'd always told me that my talents and my skills are in speech therapy. And online speech therapy is something that I have kind of excelled in, really. You know, I started doing it before the pandemic. 2015 is when I had my first speech therapy client in Italy, of all places. And here I am in the UK seeing this young lad who couldn't communicate at all and needed to use an alternative means of communication to do his oral exams. And he had learning disabilities. He had really difficult topics to kind of have to explain. Things like Ungaretti and Picasso and the causes of World War One. And I had to put them together in symbol form because he couldn't read, so that he could communicate using his iPad. It was a big task. It was very, very challenging. And I know that I can help people with communication difficulties. However, I had this silly, foolish idea that I will just stop being a speech therapist, give all my clients away to other speech therapists who are in private practice, and just go and do something different. And God didn't want me to do that. So this challenge, the 31-day Proverbs challenge that Pedro has put together, is amazing, and it inspired me to put this art journal together, which I will be sharing with you in a video later on. So I'm really excited to go through so much with you. So if you're watching this live, put a comment. Want to ask me any questions, write it in the comments and give StreamYard permission to do that, and then I can add it to the stream. If you're watching on replay, type in replay and any comment and I'll get back to you. Okay, so let's dive in first of all to prayer. Thank you, Jesus, for bringing us together in this community of women who want to get closer to you. And Jesus, I thank you that you came on earth to save us. And we just pray, Lord, that you give us all that wisdom from your word so that we can get closer to you. I pray that you will teach us through your word and that you'll inspire us to find our purpose. In Jesus' name, amen. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I want to share with you my intro. Hello and welcome to Christian Art Journaling. I'm thrilled that you've joined our community where faith, creativity and empowerment converge. Here we explore the beauty of God's Word through art, delving into thought-provoking discussions on faith and embracing the challenge and opportunities of the business world as Christian women. Whether you're seeking inspiration, spiritual growth, or a space to connect with like-minded individuals, you found your haven here. I invite you to hit the subscribe button and join our community and embark on this enriching journey with us. Together, we'll discover new depths of faith, creativity, and purpose. Welcome to Christian Art Journaling. Okay, so let's dive in to Proverbs first 1 and 2. And I'm going to share this from the Passion Translation. You can actually find that in Bible.com, and it's I just really like this translation. At church we do a different translation, but it's just nice to have something that's a little bit down to earth, if you like. So it's quite a new translation, but easy to access. So I hope you enjoy this. Let's share my screen. Okay, so there we have it. I don't know if you can read this, but I'm going to read it to you anyway. So here are the kingdom revelations, words to live by, and words of wisdom given to empower you to reign in life. Written as Proverbs by Israel's King Solomon, David's son. Okay, so when David came to reign, he was very young, and he could have asked for anything, like wealth or health or whatever, but he chose to ask for wisdom. And so this is what we're going to, which is such a wise thing to ask for, because he wanted to serve his people. And wisdom isn't just so that we can be clever, but it's so that we can serve others. So within these sayings, we will be found the revelation of wisdom and the impartation of spiritual understanding. Use them as keys to unlock the treasures of true knowledge. True knowledge, that's what we need. That's what we want to unlock. Those who cling to these words will receive discipline to demonstrate wisdom in every relationship and to choose what is right and just and fair. So, like we if you have children, we do discipline them. We need to show them right from wrong. And the Bible, the book of Proverbs, amongst all the other books, teaches us and it disciplines us so that we know right from wrong in every relationship, whether it's a friendship, whether it's a work relationship or a marriage, whatever it is. We need to know what's right and wrong. And these proverbs will give you great skill to teach the immature and make them wise. Immature, like your children, the next generation, help them to make them wise and give you the understanding of the design and destiny. For the wise, these proverbs will make you even wiser. For those with discernment, you will be able to acquire brilliant strategies for leadership. These kingdom revelations will break open your understanding to unveil the deeper meaning of parables, poetic riddles, and epigrams, and to unravel the words and enigmas of the wise. We cross the threshold of true knowledge when we live in obedient devotion to God. Stubborn know-it-alls will never stop to do this, for they scorn true wisdom and knowledge. Pay close attention, my child, to your father's wise words, and never forget your mother's instructions. And when we were bringing up our children, we've got 3 boys, I remember saying quite a few times, that one of the commandments is to honor your parents. And it is the only commandment with a promise that you will live a long life. And we used to say this to our children quite a lot of times. So it's important, isn't it, to pay close attention to your father and mother's wise words, as long as they're wise, please. For their insight will bring you success, adorning you with grace-filled thoughts and giving you reins to guide your decisions. Now, this is interesting because, when you have reins on a horse, for example, this text actually talks about the adornment for your head and chains for your neck. And the head is a metaphor for our thoughts, and the neck is a symbol for willing obedience that guides our decisions, in contrast to being stiff-necked or proud. So you can see that in Philippians 2 verse 5 to 7. When peer pressure compels you to go with the crowd and sinners invite you to join in, you must simply say no. There's a lot of peer pressure, isn't there, for our kids particularly, but also for us. So much of the time we just kind of like want to look at other people and try and compare ourselves with other people. But really, when we are focusing on God, we are just following His path, and we're not looking right or left and wondering what others are doing. We're just focusing on what He wants us to do. And when the gang says we're going to steal or kill and get away with it, we'll take down the rich and rob them, we'll swallow them up live and take what we want from whoever we want, then we will take their treasures and fill our homes with loot. So come and join us. Take your chance with us and we'll divide all we get and we'll each end up with big bags of cash. My son refused to go with them and stay far away from them. For crime is their way of life and bloodshed their speciality. To be aware of their snare is the best way of escape. They'll resort to murder to steal their victims' assets, and eventually it will be their own lives that they are ambushed. In their ungodly disrespect for God, they will bring destruction on their own lives. So there is so much wisdom there to really not follow the ways of the wicked. And even if it is, as they say, we'll get big bags of cash. If it's not God's way, we shouldn't be doing that. Kingdom's praises are sung in the streets and celebrated far and wide. Yet King Wisdom's song is not always heard in the halls of higher learning, but in the hustle and bustle of everyday life, its lyrics can always be heard above the din of the crowd. You will hear Wisdom's warning as she preaches courageously to those who stop to listen. Foolish ones, how much longer will you cling to your deception? How much longer will you mock wisdom, you cynical scorners who fight the facts? Come back to your senses and be restored to reality. Don't think about refusing my rebuke. Don't you know that I'm ready to pour out my spirit of wisdom upon you and bring you the revelation of my words that will make your heart wise? I've called you over and over till you refuse to come to me, yet I've pleaded with you again and again, yet you've turned a deaf ear to my voice. Because you have laughed at my counsel and you insisted on continuing in your stubbornness, I will laugh when your calamity comes and will turn away from you at the time of your disaster. Make a joke of my advice, will you? Then I will make a joke of you. When the storm clouds of terror gather over your head, when dread and distress consume you and a catastrophe comes like a hurricane, you will cry out to me, but I won't answer. Then it'll be too late to expect my help. When desperation drives you to search for me, I'll be nowhere to be found. So if you are foolish, you won't hear wisdom. That's what that is saying. You won't hear, you won't do the right things. And wisdom is for the people who want to follow God. Because you've turned up your nose at me and closed your eyes to the facts and refused to worship me in awe, because you scoffed at my wise counsel and laughed at my correction. Now you will eat the bitter fruit of your own ways. You made your own bed, now lie in it. My mum used to say that quite a lot to me. You made your own bed and now lie in it. And so if you create chaos, then you have to live in chaos, haven't you? That is so obvious. So how do you like that? Like an idiot who turned away from me and chosen destruction instead. Your self-satisfied smugness will kill you. Now this is really important verse here, so listen carefully. But the one who always listens to me will live undisturbed in a heavenly place, free from fear, confident and courageous. that one will rest unafraid and sheltered from the storms of life. So that was Proverbs 1. And if we look at Proverbs 2, I'm going to read this to you now. Searching for wisdom. My child, will you treasure my wisdom? Only then will you acquire it. And only if you accept my advice and hide it within you will you succeed. So train your heart to listen when I speak and open your spirit wide to expand your discernment, and then pass it on to your sons and daughters. Yes, cry out for comprehension and intercede for insight. For if you keep seeking like a man would seek for sterling silver, searching in hidden places for cherished treasure, then you will discover the fear of the Lord and find the true knowledge of God. Wisdom is a gift from a generous God, and every word he speaks is full of revelation and becomes a fountain of understanding within you. For the Lord has a hidden storehouse of wisdom made accessible to his godly ones. He becomes your personal bodyguard as you follow his ways, protecting and guarding you as you choose what is right. Then you will discover all that is just, proper, and fair, and be empowered to make the right decisions as you walk into destiny. When wisdom wins your heart and revelation breaks in, true pleasure enters your soul. If you choose to follow good counsel, divine design will watch over you, and understanding will protect you from making poor choices. It will rescue you from evil in disguise and from those who speak duplicities. For they have left the paths of righteousness and walk in ways of darkness. They take pleasure when evil prospers and thoroughly enjoy a lifestyle of sin. But you're walking on a path to nowhere, wandering away into deeper deception. But they're walking on a path to nowhere. Only wisdom can save you from flattery of the promiscuous woman. She's such a smooth-talking seductress. She left her husband and has forgotten her wedding vows. You find her house on a road to hell, and all men who go through the doors will never come back to a place they were. They will find nothing but desolation and despair. Follow those who follow wisdom and stay on the right path, for all my godly lovers will enjoy love to the fullest and will inherit their destinies. For the treacherous ones who love darkness will lose not only all they could have had, but even their own souls. So it talks about being separated from God, and as a Christian, that's the worst thing. I don't want to be separated from God. So I really encourage you to read Proverbs 1 and 2 and just pick out a verse that really speaks to you and just meditate on it again and again. So I've got this book that I've shared with you here, and I'm going to share with you a video that I put together about it for Proverbs 1 and 2. So you can see the inside of my book. Whoops, that's just fallen down. So let me share with you this video. Okay, so I'm going to share with you the Proverbs book that I've started to create. This is just a watercolor painting book, and so it's watercolor paper, and this is my title page. And I wanted to just share with you that Proverbs is about wisdom, it's about discernment, It's about understanding, instruction, advice, and the key verse here is the fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge. And so knowledge just impacts every aspect of our life. It impacts our work ethic, whether we're lazy or not. It impacts our marriage and justice and family and friendship and wealth and social behaviour and warnings against adultery, folliness, truth. All those topics are covered in Proverbs. So when I turn over, you will see that I have got this section here, which just says, whoever listens to me will live in safety and be at ease without the fear of harm. Verse 1, Proverbs 1, verse 33. Okay, so I've written some notes here about Proverbs 1, and there is a range of things here. As you can see, that Proverbs tells us why Solomon wrote this. He wrote it so that we know the wisdom, that we receive instruction, and we give guidance, prudence to the simple being, the next generation. They don't know it all, everything, although they pretend they do know everything. When they know, they'll receive that wisdom, and then they'll be able to give the wisdom to others. So, the actual way we look at things is so crucial. I just want to sort of zoom in a bit so you can see my writing a little bit more. But you can see that here, God says that he'll pour out his spirit onto you. He'll say, let the wise listen and add to their learning, and let the discerning get guidance. That's verse 5. Now, we want to get guidance from God rather than listening to advice from the world. And God tests those who he loves so that they bear more fruit. Lots of people know facts about God, but do they know God personally? Do they spend time with him? Because when the fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge. And fear, we kind of see it as a negative thing, but really it's looking at the reverence and how we have awe about God. So it's not just about knowing the facts. It's about applying it as well. So the Bible teaches us about having a structure for our families. And, as parents, we should be reading this to our children so that they don't go and do bad things and hang out with bad people, and they know what's right. So there's lots of words of wisdom here that impact all parts of our lives. In church, that we don't really talk so much about it, but it does impact even our business. So we go through a time of testing sometimes, and that is okay to go through a time of testing, because wisdom is knowing what to do with the facts. Okay, so you can get some facts, but wisdom really shows us what to do with it. And I've written some various notes here from verse 20, that wisdom is personified. It talks about calling out to everyone, calling out to the people, and it's to everyone. And there will be people who are listeners, who are, ready to listen. There are people who are ready to be repentant and to turn away from their sins and follow him. Wisdom is judgment on the ignorant. If you choose to ignore him and do your own thing, there's going to be judgment. But wisdom isn't available to the fool, and we need security, and wisdom gives us that security when we do listen, when we choose not to go along with the wicked or go along with people who are going to be a bad influence. And it says here, I would have poured out my heart to you and made my thoughts known to you. Verse 23. So that's chapter 1 that I got, and then I'm going to turn over, and you can see that I've used washi tape here. You can see, and there's a bit of chapter 3 in here, if you can see. We talk about trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. And in all your ways acknowledge him and he will make your path straight. You know, when we choose to kind of do our own thing and go our own way, which I have done recently, I've realized the errors of my way and I decided to come back to what God had asked me to do. So what wisdom does is that when we receive, we think about it in our mind. It goes into our mind, we think about it, we should treasure it, and we should, meditate on it in our soul. Meditate on it. And then as we listen to God, we listen not just with our heart, our ears, but we also listen in our hearts. We turn our ear to one side and we listen, we incline to him, we listen to our ears. Okay, so let me just stop sharing. So I don't know what happened to that video at the end, but anyway, if you want to have all my drawings when I finish them up to chapter 31, I will put them all together in a book and I'll put them in my shop at christianartjournaling.com/shop, and you can have a look at them there. So I think that is all I wanted to say today, and I'm really excited that I started on this journey with you, looking at the book of Proverbs. So I hope to see you next week. As we wrap up today's enlightening discussion, I want to extend a heartfelt invitation to each of you. Don't forget to explore our shop, www.christianartjournaling.com/shop, where you'll find a treasure trove of digital journals and tools designed to help you draw closer to God and discover your purpose. But that's not all. I'm thrilled to share an exciting opportunity with you. How does a transformative 7-night retreat in the picturesque setting of Umbria, Italy sound? It's a unique experience I've crafted for ambitious Christian women like you, where creativity and faith intertwine, nurturing personal growth and spiritual connection. Spaces are limited, so don't miss out on this incredible opportunity to embark on a journey of a lifetime. Secure a place for today for only £895. Visit christianartjournaling.com/retreat for all the details and to reserve your spot. Thank you for being a part of our community here at Christian Art Journaling. Let's continue to grow together in faith, creativity and purpose. Until next time, stay inspired and remember that your journey towards God and your purpose is a beautiful one. And I'll see you next week. Bye for now.